We'll get going here in just a minute as you're all being let into the room. Great to see you all. Great to see you all. Okay. Yeah, people are continuing to join us. That's great. We just opened the room. Yeah. I'm Jan Haig. I'm the editor of Amherst Writers and Artists Press. And I don't know if you can see next to me is Danielle McKinney, who is going to be running the technical part of the evening. Actually, she's going to be, introducing the readers too. And Danny is the administrative assistant and social media director for AWA. So, but we're delighted to see you, and those of you who are letting us see your faces, hi, and those of you who are not letting your can't for whatever reasons we're not seeing your faces. Not to worry, we're delighted you're here too. Lovely, lovely, lovely to have you here. I see some very familiar names. Some of whom I know, some of whom I don't, but some very familiar names. And yeah, this is great. As people are popping in, wonderful.
I don't see myself, which is weird.
You might be on the next screen, Sarah.
Okay, I'll look.
Because we're seeing you, so I don't know if your camera is working, but we're seeing you. I can see you.
That's good.
There's a second screen off to your right. You might have to click on.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll see what I can find.
You come up as soon as you speak. I hear you. I see you on my screen.
I found me. Thank you.
Okay. Good. Yeah, people. Depends on how you've got it, whether you've got it set on your view on gallery, or which is a whole bunch of people, Brady Bunch style, I like to say, or on speaker, which is the person who's speaking in the moment. So yeah, that's great. Well, I'm going to get off to a slow rolling start, as I like to say. I'm an AWA facilitator too. I'm the editor of AWA Press, and have been for quite a while, since Pat Schneider asked me to do this, probably at least a dozen years ago. And so I oversee Peregrine and other AWA publications. I'm based in Sacramento, California. And we're thrilled that you're here. It's just a really, really nice evening. And this is actually the first of two readings. We had so many people who wanted to read, and we didn't want them to go too long, that we have divided the reading into two. So what you're going to hear tonight, and some of you are here to read tonight, and some of you are audience. Thank you very much for both kinds of folks. We're going to have another reading on Thursday, January 12th at the same time, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And we'll put a link in the chat so that you can register for that reading and get the link to that too. So I'm gonna put that link in the chat. So if you open the chat, Danny's already done that. I see it. We got it twice. Sorry, we got it there twice. So if you want to come to the next reading, or you're planning to read the next reading, we've already actually lined up readers for both evenings. But if you want to, you're certainly welcome to join us as audience, and maybe some of you are going to be indeed reading with us in the second reading in January. So thank you so much for coming. Yeah, whether it's afternoon or evening, wherever you are in the world, we're glad to have you here. And this is the cool thing about Peregrine, actually. It is in its 36th year, and we received submissions from writers from all over the world. In the days when Pat Schneider created Amherst Writers and Artists in Amherst, they used to get submissions on paper in envelopes mailed to Pat's house. And they would have a team of volunteers go through and read them and sort them and all that. We still do that electronically now. Those of you who are in the book know that or who submitted work, we do that all through Submittable and online now. But this year we had 326 writers submit more than 1,200 pieces of writing to us. So if you submitted something and it didn't get in the book, I am so sorry. It's not necessarily that it wasn't wonderful, but there were, people who had to do some choosing. And so I apologize for that. But we're delighted. We were delighted to see that kind of number of submissions. So as many of you know, probably Peregrine is the annual literary journal of Amherst Writers and Artists, an international organization founded by Pat Schneider in Amherst, Massachusetts, about 4 decades ago. This edition, the 36th edition of Peregrine, which if you haven't received yours, and you're in the book, that's because Danny and I have to mail them out. So Danielle and I are working on that as we speak. We'll be working that because Danny lives in and works in Sacramento too. You'll get this copy. It's a fat book. Ooh, it's our biggest book ever. It's got 146 pages in it, containing the work of 85 writers, and we're pleased to have some of those folks reading tonight. I want to thank the very dedicated volunteers of AWA who put in many, many hours into the making of this edition of Peregrine. We had two people, Janet Summers and Andrea Vassallo, who are the prose editors who looked at all the prose. And we had Ellen Summers and Shelley Johnson Carey, who were looking at all the poetry. And then there were other readers who sorted through things too. We had a team of 25 first readers looking through all the material we got on Submittable to comb through those 1,200 plus pieces of writing to winnow them down. And again, we're so sorry if yours didn't make it, but it's not, trust me, we turned out a lot of very good work. So for space, and we are grateful to you. Pat Schneider felt so strongly about this precept, right, of that it is one of AWA's 5 essential affirmations, and that is a writer is someone who writes. So that is you, most likely, you whether you sent us, where you submitted or not. She would say, and we all believe very much in our hearts in the AWA world, that means you should definitely keep writing. And if you're moved to do so, keep submitting. I always say I submit a couple of things a month out there in the world and expect a couple of rejections, most, just because it just doesn't fit what they're doing, or there's they're full. But I still submit occasionally, actually monthly, so to keep my hand in. And I do get rejections, and I've learned not to take them personally, and that's okay. That's what we're here to do. I also want to thank the incredible team of Sue Reynolds, who is our AWA board president, and Lane Goddard, who is the AWA board president emeritus, for their layout and design of this issue of Peregrine. For the first time, I don't know if you've got an old issue of Peregrine, but this is an actual peregrine on the cover. For years, it was another bird of prey, which was designed by a man who Pat Schneider loved and admired in Amherst, Massachusetts. But it was not a peregrine, and she didn't want to hurt his feelings by changing it. So after all these years, on issue 36, Sue Reynolds crafted this peregrine for us. So that's the actual bird for which it was named long ago. And so we hope that it will fly on Peregrine henceforth for the foreseeable future. I also want to thank Katie Frank, who's the managing director of AWA, who makes everything run. And again, Danielle, who's the administrative assistant and social media coordinator, for all their work on Peregrine. We would not be having this reading if it were not for the two of them. Just let me say that. Danny is the people who contacted contributors about the readings, and she'll be running the show from here. But if you have any difficulties or problems with Peregrine, and I know we have a couple of boo-boos, and we're gonna get those fixed and put out new editions. Or well, we'll have new copies uploaded. We'll get them to those writers whose names we screwed up, and I so apologize for that. But Danny is the person who's going to take the reins of the reading tonight. If you have any other concerns, you can certainly contact me. I'll put my email, or I'll put my email in the chat, and so you can get that. So, but as I always like to say, there's never been a perfect publication. I've done a lot of them in my time, but we do apologize when that happens. We make every effort to correct any errors that have happened. So with that, I'll turn it over to Danielle and let her take care of the evening's proceedings. We have allocated a couple hours for this, but we may well be done before the allocated time. So, because I expect people are going to read quickly and beautifully. So thank you. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Jan. All right. Thank you all for joining us here tonight. Let's jump into our reading. For tonight's readers, you should have received a reading order list from me, so feel free to refer to that. We had a cancellation, so we're going in alphabetical by last name. So I'll call out your name by first name and last initial, and then please introduce yourself and your piece to the group. So to kick us off, Sharon B., would you read for us?
I would love to read for you. Thank you. I'm Sharon Bissell, and my piece is called The Notification. At the sound of someone knocking loudly on the door, Ada placed the generously portioned gin and tonic on the oak table and yelled freely at the Weimaraner to stop its barking and the smack, smack, smack of its tail against the table, ice cubes clinking in the crystal glass. The man at the door was balding. His comb-over, which consisted of just enough hairs to make it impossible to count them, revealed a certain discomfort about aging that contradicted his stern, confident look. The dipping sun created a small aura around him. "Is this the home of Ada Morse Weller?" the man asked, squinting at the woman before him, her heat roller curls, her red manicure, her pointy toe heels. Her starched cotton dress, tight on top and poofed out on the bottom, was closed with a mother-of-pearl pin in the shape of a saxophone. "Why, yes, it is," said Ada, sure that she had never before seen him. She knew all the neighbors and knew no one new had moved in. She spotted an unfamiliar blue thunderbird on the street beyond her freshly cut lawn. "How can I help you?" she said, releasing a stockinged foot from its pump to run it up and down a slender shin. The man shifted his weight and extracted a small notebook from his coat pocket. "I'm terribly sorry to inform you, ma'am," he began. And with those 7 words, Ada knew well enough to put a hand on the doorframe, just in case. The next words, whatever they might be, would be much heavier. "Your husband, Charles Weller, was found dead this morning at the university," the man said, his voice so firm that Ada had no doubt at all that he had found the right home, the right woman. She felt the warm blood drain from her face and her eyes become saucers. She raised her hand to stifle a cry, a diamond dwarfing her delicate finger. "It was Mr. Seymour who found him," continued the man as Ada peered back up at him. "I'm so sorry to tell you that he had a heart attack in the locker room after tennis." Ada Morse Weller's mother had taught her young that the true colors of a person come out in the most difficult of times. Though her mother, may her dear soul rest in peace, would never be able to commend her staunch bravery, Ada quickly resolved to show her best side to the gentleman tasked with giving her what was, in reality, he should never know it, the best news she had had all year. It was not easy to contain herself. The left corner of her glossy mouth twitched. She leaned her head into the crux of the arm that had taken to the doorframe and expelled a deep, dark sigh. Her shoulders rocked up and down in a movement that the less informed might easily take for a sob. It's funny, isn't it, how easily fooled we can be by the cues of a body? Mr. Woodland watched with growing empathy and avoided the eyes of the distressed woman. He often wondered how his own wife might react to the kind of news he was dispatched to deliver every now and again. He had seen them swoon, he had seen them faint, he had seen them scream. Ada Morse wasn't an exception, really. She was just quiet, elusive. In fact, she was quite the rule, he thought. The shaking shoulders, the twitching lips, the unsteady gaze, everything was as it should be. A widow ought to express through her flesh the kind of fright that he, a man of means, would never know, that of becoming a woman alone in this big, bad world. Ada composed herself just enough to get the officer's name and number. Mr. Woodlawn tore a sheet from his notebook, wrote his name out in gunky blue ink from a pen that had faced downward too long in his breast pocket. She accepted the paper, feigning distress, pretending exhaustion, and creased it down the middle before putting it down next to the sweating glass and closing the door behind Mr. Woodlawn. Upstairs, under the pressed linen top sheet in Ada and Charlie's king-size bed, Liliane Rose savored the thought of the taste of Ada and the gin and tonic she was taking so long to bring.
Thank you so much, Sharon. All right. Kim E., are you in the room with us? Great. Go ahead and unmute, and it's your turn.
Great. I'm really honored to be part of Peregrine, and I'm coming to you from Hudson Valley in New York. And this poem is called The Memory Tree. Under the memory tree, what winter fruit remains? Mother, once round and succulent, with ironing and worries, is only a name, Kathleen, in a wrinkled sepia skin. Father, who slept in his office at lunchtime, a robust, fulsome orb, dies and drops again and again from a heart attack, playing poker in the basement. Daughter, ripened and ready, let herself be picked, packed, and transported north. Elder son, an industrial-sized globe, hangs within reach. He offers a bite on holidays. Younger son dangles crooked, misshapen, and bruised, a wind-blown apparition looking for cash. Unable to disengage, the ex-wife clings on, buffeted by conspiracy theories. Spherical, with indistinct edges, she's sour to the taste.
Thank you so much, Kim. And Laura, unfortunately, is unable to make it this evening, so we're going to skip her and we're going on. Barrett F., it's your turn.
Thank you so much. I am so honored to be here with each one of you and you talented writers. I love what has been read so far. And I'm also really happy to be a part of Peregrine. This is my first published poem, and this poem poured out of me after my beloved family home burnt down. It's called What is Blue to You? My father's eyes changed from seafoam green to blue, even when he was in a coma. The color of the cross encompassed by a white plastic circle, this tiny symbol that indicated I was pregnant with an unwanted baby that I drove myself to abort. A word I couldn't mouth for months. The color of fire when it is so hot and burning, and swallowing the cabin my father built from salvaged wood and stone. The one constant in my life, the one where we buried his body. Trees, shadows on snow the day my family saw the cabin's remains. How can something that keeps us warm in winter also kill? How can ocean bottom and mountain sky share color with blazing fire, blood before it meets oxygen, people as they die? Blue, the color of my eyes. No one will know the violence it took me to become this kind. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. Bethany H., it's your turn to read.
Thank you. Just really grateful to be part of this group. I've already heard some really nice work, so looking forward to hearing more. My poem is called Remains. It began with Egyptian mummies, hook to scramble and pull brain jelly through nostrils, sacred jars for lungs, liver, stomach, intestines, believed useful in the afterlife. I imagine my belly full of myrrh, cassia, sown with spices, such care for the dead. Eyed girl found in a Netherlands peat bog, 2,000 years and her hair still reddish gold. Touched too young, I abhorred even the thought of being touched. alive or dead, but for science, desire not to be dead, but found, a cause for reverence. I'm the Netherlands girl, you tell me, buried so long until you found me. Some 1,000 years and an apocalypse later, an archaeologist will brush radioactive sediment from my sternum, clavicle, scapula, marvel at our hands still clasped. Thank you.
Thank you, Bethany. It truly is an honor to be a part of the team that has worked so hard to publish all of these beautiful words. So thank you all for being here and for sharing. Kate K, it's your turn to read your piece.
Hi, thank you. I'm Kate Kearns. I'm up in Maine, and I have a short poem tonight. It's called "You're Alive as the Day Your Mother Gave You to the World." Short poem, long title. Your name speaks. The breeze that moves a leaf in and out its slice of sky, gust that keels a ship, laugh that interrupts with joy a gray hour, that rowdy partier everyone wants, a fury. You're in that bed. No, you're still on the move. You're pulping drop apples in our family's cider press, preparing them for their next form. I'm here beside you, listening. Your breath, a hunger of honeybees. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for sharing. Barbara K, are you here with us this evening?
I am indeed.
Great, it's your turn to read.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. I'm Barbara Krasner. I'm in central New Jersey, and I am honored to be with all of you this evening. Here is my creative nonfiction piece. In the case of removed organs versus the body that remains, the suit against me by the Workers' Compensation Board is completely unfounded. I'd like to speak in my own defense. Let's start with my tonsils, those annoying, lazy things. No matter who employs them, they're usually the first to be fired. Still, in 1967, they made quite a fuss when leaving my 10-year-old mouth. They battered and bruised my throat as retaliation. I took so long to heal that my 5th grade class never got the chance to send me get well letters. You'll see from Exhibit A my list of long overdue claims for damages. Jump ahead to 2005. 2 of the usual 4 parathyroid glands got into their little strands that unauthorized overtime was okay, that I would just fork over elevated calcium levels. Nothing doing. On the way out, they damaged my vocal cords. See Exhibit B. Now we come to 2014. My ovaries, uterus, fallopian tubes, and cervix staged a strike. The Uterine Union for Cancer Development pulled them together against me that summer. There was little I, as management, could do against union action. I had no choice but to cave into their demands. The cancer insisted. The uterus especially wanted to stay. It laughed like crazy, pounding its fists on cubicle walls. But a scabby robot I hired removed the whole lot of them from the premises. The opportunity for more of their cancerous pals evaporated with radiation treatment. And now for the final grievance, the case mounted by my gallbladder. Not that we had a close relationship. It didn't like to work, and so didn't meet my standards for work ethic. When measured, it only operated at 23%. 23%! I had to fire it for non-performance. At first, its absence proved tough to handle, rendering my system useless to process acid or fat of any kind. I enter into evidence Exhibit C. But I must commend the other working organs that have filled the void, without overtime and without complaint. I rest my case.
Thank you so much for sharing, Barbara. Mary M., it's your turn to read if you're here with us.
Yes, I am. And this is, you'll have to read the complete thing in the journal because I did condense it so I could get under the time limit. This is my flash fiction piece, and it's called Home Economics. Jackie's dark eyes are needles. Sun streams in the window of her bedroom where we finish dresses we must wear to school next week. Jackie is not my friend. She sits next to me in home economics. Before today, she never sat with me at lunch or invited me to her house. Downstairs, her mother is making dinner. Her mother is an older version of Jackie. Sleek black hair and clothing starched and pressed, face starched and pressed, free of rough edges. Jackie does not question me. She talks about herself, her parents, and then pauses for me to enter this barter of confidences. The silence gapes between us. Isn't it silly, she says, making us wear these dresses to school? I'm sure I'll never wear mine again. As if sewing a dress is a skill she'll never need. I study the buttonholes on my blouse, wishing they looked machine-made. I hope Jackie can't guess my mother makes all my clothes. But I won't wear my home economics dress after next week either. It's too simple, looks even more homemade than the ones my mother sews. Still, I am learning, and I have done it with no help from my mother. My dress is dark reddish brown, the color of dried blood. Jackie's dress, blue as a bruise, will show up her complexion, creamy and translucent. How does your brother like the army? Jackie asks. Jackie suspects this is just a rumor that explains my brother's disappearance. He's not in the army, I say, breaking the thread with my teeth, a momentary lapse. He's traveling. I hold my breath, hoping she won't ask where, since none of us knows. When a car pulls into the driveway, Jackie's smile is genuine as she says, "Dad's home." My stomach knots and I take a deep breath, waiting. Downstairs a voice booms, then lowers and merges with her mother's cooing. I think of our home ec teacher's many rules. Never hang a tea towel across your shoulders because your hair is not hygienic. Never taste what you are cooking and then return the spoon to the pan. Put out a grease fire with baking soda, not water. Keep scissors, needles, and pins in a secure location. Draw up a budget and stick to it. Think of meal presentation as a work of art. A scientific approach that guarantees cleanliness, order, safety, and harmony, the myriad secrets that make my A in Mrs. Woodward's home ec class even more crucial than my A's in English or biology. Anticipating the call to dinner, Jackie tucks her needle in the fabric. I keep my eyes lowered to the hem of my dress. Blind stitching. Done right, it won't show on the outside. Jackie's needle eyes pick at the French seams of my silence. She senses the raw edges tucked inside the neat folds. My life is patched from scraps and remnants, but none of its secrets show on the outside. She cannot undo me. My seams are straight and tight. And I thank you very much for inviting me to this, and I'm delighted. This is my first appearance in Peregrine. I'm delighted to be here.
Thank you. It's truly an honor to publish your words. So, Lawrence M., are you here with us? It's your turn.
Yes, I am. How is everyone? thanks to Amherst Writers and Artists Press for tonight, and Danielle and Jan, for everybody for hosting and organizing this. I'm here to make friends. So my poem published here is called High Pressure. The weight, the morning, the coat, the hood, the gloves, the wind, the street, the stranger, the sun, the glare, the cold, the dog, the teeth, the fence, the car, the exhaust, the stink, the weight, the morning, the coat, the hood, the gloves, the wind, the wind, the wind, the trees, the leaves, the trash, the stranger, the stranger, the stranger, the worry, the heart, the worry, the bed, the blankets, the night, the bedroom, the window, the closet, the dark, the dark, the dark, the pillow, the weight, the cold, the heart, the heart, the heart, the morning, the weight. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You said that you came here looking for friends. AWA is certainly a great place to meet a lot of wonderful friends in the writing community. So you all are in the right spot. Let's keep moving along through our readers. Alan N., are you here with us? Would you go ahead and unmute? I can't hear you, but usually if you are joining in from a... Okay, there you are.
Okay, I apologize.
That's okay. We're live. Go ahead. Introduce yourself and your piece, please.
Okay. And boy, I tell you, a pleasure. I can't believe I'm with listening to these. These are great. My name's J. Allen Nelson, J. Allen Nelson, and my poem is I Hear the Word Mermaid. I hear the word mermaid as my coffee arrives, straight, no sugar or cream. At the next table, a worried girl tells her biggest fear is to drown in a dream. Her mother says, when you drown in a dream, just breathe underwater like a mermaid. I sip. I stare into the mug. I ponder when my fear of no money drowned my other biggest fears: physical violence, dying in a vain war, wandering witless down a strange street, mumbling angry nonsense. A snow that piles high, comes down the chimney and collapses the roof. A fire that blocks all the exits, closed libraries. Nothing is divine. Betrayed by my friend, betrayal by my love, betrayal by myself. Then I gasp, choke, drown in coffee as I try to breathe like a mermaid. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, J. Allen. Thank you. So nice to see so many people join together to celebrate the launch of Peregrine. Donna N., are you here?
Yeah, hi, I'm here.
Go ahead and introduce yourself and your piece when you're ready.
Hi, I'm D.L. Newton, and I'm very impressed and honored to be among you all. It's been incredible so far. My poem is called Bridge, and it was inspired by Spalding Gray. Water, always water. Others look up, they find meaning in shapes of clouds. I seek my mother's face in the churning water. I hear her breathing. Her movement is song. She assures me she is finally home, and it is peaceful. Those silent fish whose opposite eyes are always open, always placid, have become her truest family now that she is one of them. She flicks her tail with grace, darting away, then swims back to eye me, serene, serious, unblinking. Here you can swim in the darkness, she sings silently, staring. You enter it, she telepaths to me, gliding, she whispers as she glides. You feel its cold blue surround you. As a shudder quakes her, she shoots up. It is like snow on your hot cheeks, she intimates, as light catches the crystal bubbles of her wake. Her scales repeat rainbows in arcs. She twists this way and that. She is pure ballet, my mermother, unafraid of depths. She inhales salt. Why am I human when she is not? Why is it mere air that I breathe? Invisible stuff that does not ripple away with grace as I move through it, choking on its arid simplicity, drowning in its ubiquity. It suffocates. When I swim, nothing hurts. All effort is effortless, pleasure. I am constantly caressed by the water. Shells below me glitter, white, blue, and gray. They burp, a bubble containing my name, rising to pop next to my ear, tickling. I am enchanted. Dolphins laugh with me. Yet there is salt in the tears of my lover, so I want her to cry as I must inhale them. As my rainbow scales gently emerge and my wrinkles smooth, my lips pucker in never-ending kisses as I try to communicate with only my eye that I have invented the truth. What I seek now is not my death. It is my only possible life.
Thank you, Dia. Eileen P., are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead and introduce yourself in your piece.
My name is Eileen Pettigrew, and I'm reading from Portland, Oregon. I'm honored to be a part of this reading, and this is my first poem published in Peregrine. My father makes another appearance in the dining room. This time, my mother tells me, he's wearing red tennis shoes, a crummy pajama top, and wrinkled slacks, a pendant around his neck, like the other residents. I repeat the same tired arguments. Dad's in heaven. There's no going back and forth. It's just your mind playing tricks. I think of what Stephen Hawking said, that we don't see broken cups gathering themselves together off the floor and jumping back onto the table. I think of telling her that. But then my mother says, he eats everything on his plate. Why is he here? She asks. What does he want? As if I would know. And now she's crying, and I'm listening to her cry. Was it then, she said, it's hard when you're getting ready to die? Or did that come later? The way she broke the words into pieces, tucking that final quiet E into the background like the hum of a refrigerator, while she stands at the sink, washing and rinsing dishes, while I dry and put them back in the cupboard. Thank you.
Thank you. So Sharon was unable to join us tonight. So let's move along. Bruce R., are you here?
Hi, this is Bruce Robinson coming from upstate New York tonight, reading what is probably going to be the shortest poem of the evening. Perhaps. It's late in the evening, and for hours now, the birds have been out of their trees, perhaps because something has disturbed them. Something ominous in some of us, a cat perhaps a car with a faulty muffler, or the sight of us, of every one of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Let's move along to Ellen S. It's your turn to read.
I'm Ellen Sasman, and I'm reading from just outside of Washington, D.C. in Maryland. I wanted to thank Amherst writers and Peregrine for all their hard work and their continued existence. I'm also honored to be among all these wonderful writers and be part of this community. I'm reading My Father and I Visit the World War II Memorial, Washington, D.C., June 2004. He leans on his cane to steady whatever cartilage his knees have left and limps to the southern arch inscribed with Pacific, the theater where he served as a machinist's mate, scared silly in the bowels of a destroyer sweeping the ocean for Jap subs, his auburn curls and boyhood burning up in the blistering steam of the engine room until his medical discharge, less than honored, for nausea and diarrhea. The memorial's architecture critiqued as Nazi fascistic, its granite slabs blank as to war's horrors and indignities my father kept secret until this, his last visit, when he insists we see the site on a hot day swollen with humidity and perspiration of touring adolescence. They ask questions of any man who'd enlisted. And my father, usually a cipher reticent to a fault, speaks about the responsibilities of citizenship and voting, and they listen open-mouthed to his profession of faith I never before heard him dare to make. Had I never asked the right way? And the morning sun glances off his bald pate, glistening around his sweated crown. Finally, the guy who never caught a break gets rewarded the respect he deserves, his story bronzed in bas-relief and joining the others projected on scored stone. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Mary S., are you here?
Yes, hi. I'm Mary Simmerling. It's a true honor to be here, and I've just loved all of the work that's been shared so far this evening. Thank you for everyone for putting together this great event. I'm reading a poem called Thoughts on Replacing a Dead Girl. Thoughts on replacing a dead girl. First, it is important to be alive and to stay that way, not just for you, but for you both. Next, you must know how to fill things, like big gaping holes inside hearts, missing memories, never celebrated birthdays. You must also know how to erase things, eliminate them even, things like guilt and sorrow and tears. And of course, you must be things like beautiful and smart, happy and accomplished. In fact, if possible, it is helpful if you can just be everything. You must also be skilled and know things, like how to keep secrets and be polite. Thank you. Finally, you must rise and shine over and over and over again, as if everything depended on it. Do not get discouraged. That is not allowed. Someday you will understand. It would have been impossible to do this any other way.
Thank you, Mary. Okay. Sarah W., are you here with us?
I am. Thank you.
Go ahead. Take it away.
Yeah, my name's Sarah Wallbach. I'm coming to you from Santa Fe, New Mexico. This has been incredible, wonderful, and I am honored to be included with all of these wonderful writers in this exciting journal. I can't wait to see it with a picture of the bird, the peregrine on the cover. My poem is called Camping on Mustang Island. The crashing surf and maddening salty wind pressed me into hush. Daily I wandered the beach through broken shells and strands of kelp to the long barnacle jetty, blocks of slippery granite upheaved from the womb of the Gulf. At night, rippled sand smoothed and swelled under my body, and at dawn I woke to fluttering remnants of waves at high tide creeping toward my tent. Every morning, I woke to see a great blue heron guarding the space between me and the few steps to the waves that would swallow me if I consented, if I walked straight out through the walloping surf, if I kept going. Thank you.
Thank you. Ellen W., are you ready to read?
Yes, I am.
Go ahead and introduce yourself and your piece.
Thank you so much for including my work. My name is Ellen Wright, and I'm here in Hackensack, New Jersey, which is in the north, about 20 minutes outside of New York. And I'm going to give a little trigger warning because my work deals a lot with social justice and or injustice. And so the piece I'm going to read is on page 126. Please don't forget my name. When I'm gone and my body found inverted, hanging from a tree, growing cut and bleeding like Winfried Rembrandt, please don't forget my name. And if you find me weighted down in a pond and dredge the bottom and drag my disfigured remains on shore like Emmett Till, if you get to bury me, please don't forget my name. And if you hear that I was dragged to my death behind a truck like James Byrd because someone thought it would be justice to lynch me, please don't forget my name. And if I'm found hanging in a cell after being arrested for not signaling while changing lanes like Sandra Bland, please don't forget my name. Years from now, call my name, call my spirit back. And if you see me in the street, limbs limp breath fading from my body like George Floyd as I plead, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, under a knee, and life finally leaves me. Call my name. Please don't forget to call my name. And if the cops come looking for my ex-boyfriend in the middle of the night and wake me out of a dream-filled sleep as they batter down the door, then fill my body with bullets like Breonna Taylor, please don't forget me. Call my name. Please remember to call my name. No matter how they take me, no matter when they take me, don't forget me. Call my name.
Thank you so much, Ellen. Peggy S., would you please read for us?
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much.
I'm here from Livermore, California, in the San Francisco Bay Area. Thank you for including me in the beautiful journal and letting me read tonight. My poem is very short, called Misinformation. Intoxicating, seductive misinformation sprays sweet perfume to cover the reek of malignant contagion as she stretches lissom limbs across the vast viral blanket. A practiced flirt, she beckons and purrs. Come and get it, baby. I know what you want. Invite all your friends and let's party. Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy. I'm muted. Julia O., I would like to invite you to read your piece.
Okay, thank you.
Close us out tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Julia Orbis, and I'm in California in the Bay Area, and thank you for inviting me to read. Front horn beasts. Pay attention, said the wise one, for I will teach you to know a front horn beast. Unicorns don't exist, we will tell our children. First, you must appreciate this miracle. Two subspecies, north and south, the double helix truth of nature, dwell on the northern one or two. Some say Afrikaan for wide, so pack your biggest heart. Then journey across the globe, not to Garamba National Park, where they lost to Lord's Resistance Army, but travel to Kenya's Old Perjeta Conservancy for captured creatures and pray for their protectors. Behold a boulder built on sturdy stumps, this mighty model of savanna style, with heavy coat of dimpled dermis, and the horn, the lethal horn, keratin akin to hair and nails, spawning mankind's slaughter for medicinal myths. Reflect on eons of stunning evolution. Then weep for Mother Najin and daughter Fatu, the earthly end of nature's northern white rhinos. Finally, said the wise one, for it is final, pay attention, and I will teach you to mourn a wild front-horned beast. Northern white rhinos don't exist, we will have to tell our grandchildren.
Thank you, Julia. That concludes the the reading portion of this evening. Thank you all so much for joining together to share your words with others. It's been so lovely to be here. Jan, is there any last things you would like to say to our lovely group?
Read so beautifully and so meaningfully, and thank you so much. Your words really bring. Your words, even in this format, bring Peregrine to life in ways that we, have never traditionally done before. So we're delighted to have you all. Thank you for your comments in the chat too, and your encouragement of each other in classic AWA style, which is lovely. We will do this again on January 12th. I'm hoping we didn't miss anybody tonight. Let us know if we did. But we do have a pretty full slate for January 12th. But if you didn't get in or wanted to, let Danny know, please. And I know whenever we do a reading like this, I always have this big hit of Pat Schneider just grinning widely, even though she left us a couple of years ago. And so I thank you on behalf of her, on behalf of all the people who over these 40 years have made Amherst Writers and Artists what it is today and whose legacy we carry on. You are carrying it on too by being in Peregrine. And those of you who are in the book, you will get a copy from us in the next couple of weeks. Danny and I do the mailings. They are available on Amazon if you'd like to buy extra copies. And for those of you whose names we boo-booed, we will get that corrected and get you proper copies very soon. So thank you so much for your time tonight. Everybody be well. Have good holidays.